I want to give you today a recipe how to get everything you desire in life, how to bring in that perfect, beautiful dream life. And just a disclaimer, this is not going to be a video where I'm going to give you free steps and quick fixes. There's going to be two key components that will be required from you, that life will require from you, and those components are trust and dedication. Trust and dedication is all that you need and everything that you need to follow with this recipe. And again, disclaimer, this is not going to be a video and I'm going to tell you if you want to make money, this is how you have to start your business, this is how you have to strategize. We're not going to be talking about these things. We're going to be talking about alignment. We're going to be talking about how to reach that dream life, in a sense of that dream life being your dharma, your northern star, your highest, most abundant timeline. And this is where most people understand these things wrong. They try to change their external reality and make the reality fit, right? So they want love, they go ahead and they search for partners on, Tinder's applications and in bars. They want money, they start applying strategies to their business and so on and so forth. Many people already know and already creates those videos that it all has to start within. We have to shift within. But what does it really mean and how do we really do that? Because it's not only about the internal shift. Of course it is, as within so without, as above so below, but it's not so much about the internal shift. It's more about alignment, because what needs to happen is that you need to align your frequency and align your vibration to the vibration of that highest, most abundant timeline. And the problem with this is that, first problem is that people don't have trust and dedication, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to connect to those frequencies. But people don't see and don't understand the interdependency and the correlation between things. So when you want money, you naturally go towards advice that talks specifically about business, finances, and so on and so forth. And of course, these tools may be at a certain point of your life useful, but it's not what will get you there. Similarly, when you talk about love, finding love, you will naturally go towards tips. Where are the men, or where are the good women, and how to date? But it is not that. And sometimes there are random things that we are required to do that our logical mind fails to connect the dot. How come this thing is going to get me a perfect partner? But it's not so much about this thing getting you a perfect partner, but it's about this thing raising your vibration, allowing you to quantum jump to a higher timeline where that partner, that abundance, that money will be found. So you're going to have to start from figuring out what you really want. And it's not because this is where you design that highest timeline, because in reality, that highest timeline already exists. What you need to do is to connect to that timeline. Connect to that timeline. And all of us, all people, we carry the remembrance of our highest, most abundant timeline within us, because everything that was, is, and will be, including your highest, most abundant timeline, exists in the quantum field. And the tools that we all have to connect to that timeline are desires of our soul. So what we carry within that we always wanted from childhood, but think about state of mind, feelings, frequency, vibration instead of actual physical things. Things that we really want, we carry within as passions, as our deepest passions, deepest desires, oftentimes connecting through as well certain qualities and talents, because it's a remembrance of our highest timeline. And many people struggle already here because they don't really know what they want. They cannot connect to that timeline because their vibration is so low. They're so deeply lost within the shadows, within the shallowness of this life, that they think more on the physical things and the things that would numb their pain and the void, instead of things that they actually truly deeply desire. They're conditioned to even not be allowed to think of these things, right? So your mind, the cultural conditioning mind, will tell you that this is silly, this is not achievable, this is stupid. So you gotta think big. I'm gonna give you my example. When I started this journey, there were 3 things that I wanted. When I went through my awakening and I started sort of dwelling on these things and speaking to the universe, there were 3 things that I wanted in life, and those things were remembrance of my highest, most abundant timeline. One thing that I wanted was the inner state of being where I would just be at peace. I wanted to be at peace. I wanted to release the anxiety. I wanted to release the dependencies on other people's opinions. I wanted to really be connected to myself in a way that I'm not going to care what others think of me, how others judge me. I wouldn't want to worry. It's just inner state of mind, right? Inner state of mind where you just trust so much and you are so deeply connected to who you are that you don't worry, you don't stress out, you don't have anxiety, you have the confidence. That's what I wanted. Second thing that I wanted was love. That's actually the first thing that I wanted. But second thing that I wanted was love. But not love in the sense, I want a partner that will do this and that with me. I wanted love. I clearly said to the universe, I don't want a relationship. I don't want a partner. This is not what it's about. This is something that we can easily have. Let's face it. I wanted love. I wanted the love. I wanted to stand in front of the partner, the perfect man for me, the other half of my soul, the destined dharmic partner. Little did I know that I should have put a disclaimer that I want this journey to be pleasurable and nice and easy from day one, and I don't want to be put through hell to get there. But I wanted the love that makes you stand between your partner and a bullet, the love that makes you give him your freaking kidney without him even knowing, the love that will make you cross the freaking world on your knees to ensure that this partner is safe and happy. The unconditional, truly unconditional. I want nothing. All I want is to give you my love, not even in the physical if you don't want to, right? That's kind of love, real love, fairy tale love. I didn't want a mediocre BS that most people are stuck at. I wanted love. I wanted to love that will make you feel alive and that will make you feel the divinity within. And the first thing that I wanted was financial freedom, right? So not tons of money, not Lamborghinis, financial freedom. So a state where I wouldn't worry about finances, that I would feel so deeply rooted in a safety and in the belief that abundance will just come to me and universe will provide for me, that I will be able to do what I want. That financial freedom, it's exactly that you don't have to do things that make you sick, that you don't want to do them. You want to live your life in an aligned way, and money is just magnetized towards you. So I'm giving you that example for you to understand what is the frequency that you need to connect to, right? Because we're not going to be talking about specific timelines, specific people, specific objects, specific items. We want the feeling. Because this is one of the things with the highest, most abundant timeline. It's there and it's for you, but you have to release the how and the when, right? You have to release the how and the when. All right. So now, after 10 minutes of introduction, finally, what do you need to do to get there? With trust and dedication. There's only one thing that you need to do with trust and dedication. Listen to your spirit guides. Listen to the universe, the higher self, your answer, however you want to call it, spirit, however you want to call it, it's all same. They're going to give you the same information coming from the quantum field. You only have to listen. With trust and with dedication, do what you're being told to do. How do we do that? To explain this to you, I want to give you an example and a story. A conversation that I had with a friend yesterday. And it's going to prove to you how everyone actually can do it, and people aren't doing that because they're simply in denial and they're simply in fear. It's like you have your dreams, but you're actually afraid to do what it takes to get those dreams, right? So then they just settle, they convince themselves that they're happy, that life is fine the way it is. If you're that person, it's not a video for you. This video is for those who want to achieve it all. We talk about all. We talk about highest, most abundant timeline. Your best possible life scenario that exists in the quantum field. Boom, you want to be there. We don't just want a mediocre relationship with a mediocre partner that it's fine because he's there and because he's fine and he respects me and I don't feel lonely. We just don't want a mediocre job because, oh, there are people who don't have jobs, so I should be lucky that I have this. We want it all. We want a fairy tale. Okay? Fairy tale from the best fairy tales books. So this is the story. We met for lunch yesterday with a friend, and I was speaking to her that there's something that my guides told me to do. I was specifically speaking about, my lifestyle and my diet, because I was a vegetarian for a very, very long time, and now they're pushing me to be a vegan. And they've been showing me this information. They've been putting downloads within me to go that one step, which is really not... For most part, I'm already there, right? There were maybe two things, and that's what I was saying to my friend, that there were maybe 2 or 3 things, that I would eat ice cream, that I would occasionally eat sushi, and that I would eat eggs, and they were like pushing me, but it's not, they're not pushing me to be 100% perfect from day one, but they're pushing me to explore this more. I have a very specific mission in my life, so they're not only pushing me for myself, but they're pushing me to raise the awareness of people about this. This is just a background story, it doesn't really matter. I digress, sorry. So she was asking me, but isn't it going to be difficult for you? Like, we were talking about sushi, ice cream, one of your favorite things. This is going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging. Like, why are you doing this? And I said to her, I know it's going to be challenging. I know it's going to be hard, and I know that it's going to be even harder to talk about this to people, because people are very resistant, and a lot of people, having these conversations with people these days about divine order and alignment is difficult. But I am not doing this for my comfort. I am doing this to create a better world. I am doing this because if this is what they tell me to do, it must be that it's going to raise my vibration and align me more with my dharmic path and get me what I want. I would stop from nothing, okay? And so I asked her, if you knew, and I'm asking you this question, if you knew that if you follow specifically the advice of your spirit guides, despite the fact that you don't understand it necessarily, or that you don't see a correlation between these specific things and things that you want, if you were told what to do for 2, 3, 4 years, and your guides would tell you, if you trust, if you surrender, if you listen, if you do everything as we tell you, you will get your perfect life, would you do it? With trust and dedication. Trust that I don't need to understand why you're asking this of me. I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I'm going to be dedicated to it. With all my heart, with all my body, with everything that I've got. She hesitated. She said, like, yes, maybe yes, I don't know. But there was in her energy, you could clearly sense, me being an energy reader specifically, that she would need a confirmation. I need this on writing. I need this as a contract, right? So if you're gonna, because people don't have trust. Trust in yourself, trust in what you're hearing, trust in your intuition, trust in God, trust in the universe. They don't have trust. This is why they look for quick fixes. This is why they settle, because they don't have trust. They're so deeply stuck in the conditioning of the matrix. And this is exactly what the system wanted. To have us where we're even going to be afraid to dream. When we're going to be afraid to dream, thinking that this is too much, this is fairy tale, this is not possible. What kind of a horrible system is that, where people are even afraid to dream and try? This is exactly what they wanted. They have us when they wanted to have us, to harvest our energy at the level of shallow settling, mediocre lives, forcing yourselves to believe that there are worse things out there, so I should be happy with what I have. So she then said to me, well, it's easier for you to say because you are who you are. And she meant that I'm a channel and I'm a medium and I'm a seer. And so I actually see my guides. I actually hear my guides. And I said to her, this is BS. This is not true. Every single person has the capacity to connect to their higher selves, to connect to their spirit guides. And we'll talk about this how in a moment. But also I said to her, okay, you're not a medium, you're not a channel, but one of your best friends is. And I have told you gazillion of things that I have heard from your guides for your alignment to do. You've done none of these things. So again, it's a story of a fearful ego that is afraid of change. Specifically that day, I told her one thing and she clearly said, I'm not going to do it. Well then, Karen, we got a problem. So let's say you're not a medium. Let's say you're not yet connected, because we can all become our own channels. I've done a variety of videos about this when I've explained to you guys that there's a specific group of people, whether you call them awakened ones, star seeds, light workers, mediums, whatever, that are channels for humanity. So what we channel is for the benefit of all. We can channel information for all people from the quantum field, right? However, every single person has the capacity to be their own channel for their information in the quantum field, right? So every person has the capacity to connect to their guides and to draw that information from the quantum field, how to get to your highest most aligned timeline. The reason people don't connect to it is because they lack trust, right? So they receive intuitive feelings, they receive visions, they receive informations. Guides are communicating with them, but they don't trust this information. They think that this is just my mind, this is just my overthinking, this is just me being Delulu, this is just a random thought that came to me, that it just doesn't matter. So they don't listen. So I want to invite you to connect to that frequency more, because this is all that you need. Listen to your guides. Your guides will start telling you what is it that you need to work on, what wounds you need to work on, what friends you need to let go of, what habits you need to let go from your life, what lifestyle changes you need to introduce. They will guide you. So how do we start to listen to that guidance? Well, I could give you a variety of, spiritual practice and their permission slips. We talk about this always. Spiritual practices are beautiful through meditation, through contemplation, through stillness. So just like sitting here on my chair and looking through the window and just allowing thoughts to come to me. Because your guides, and it's something that I as well explain always, as a medium, it's not like I see my guides. Yes, I hear them, but they're using my senses. It's not like they're here in the physical, right? They don't have a physical form. Their spirit, their awareness. They cannot move glasses, contrary to popular belief that it requires a lot of time and lowering your vibrations a lot. This is why only lower entities can do these kind of things, but they can rearrange certain things for us in life. So you gotta have to start to trust what you're seeing and what you're hearing, understanding this is gonna come through your own vision and your own sight. It's like I'm not hearing a different voice in a different room. I'm hearing it through my own voice, through my own thoughts, because they're using my vessel and this is why we call it channeling, because you are the channel. You are the conduit for that information. So you gotta start trusting it. So obviously, contemplation, meditation, yoga, all the spiritual practices, as long as you understand them properly, they will help you. I have a whole playlist on my YouTube, spiritual practices, where I've broke these topics down. Why are there permission slips and how to properly do them and properly understand them. But in reality, you just have to start practicing. Speak. Connect to a specific frequency. What do you connect more? Do you connect more to your higher self, what we call a higher self? So you from, the spirit self. Or do you connect more to your spirit guide? Or you connect more to a specific ancestors or person who perhaps lived in this lifetime, but they're already gone, because these people are always with us, around us. Or do you connect more to, as in God or as in universe? Again, it's all same. It's just a conduit. It's just means to connect to the quantum field and to the wholeness of the universe. So it doesn't matter. You can have an animal spirit for all I care. But a medium a medium. You can also use an actual medium if you want to, signing up for sessions and starting to collaborate with someone that will teach you to connect to frequency, because that's the whole point of a spiritual teacher and a medium. I am your medium and your channel until I teach you how to do this for yourself for the rest of your existence. So you connect to, and you start just to speak to them. You speak, you ask, and you respond. You ask for signs and they will deliver. And your spirit guides, if you still struggle to actually hear and to connect your intuition, because it requires inner work as well to trust that intuition, but it requires practice, they will send you signs through external means. So they can do exactly that. They can send you this friend that will sit in front of you and say something that you know deeply that it is resonating, it is hitting that spot, but you're choosing to ignore it. They will show you a video on your feed, or they will show you a book that you will be drawn to buy, but then you will buy it and you will read it and you will ignore it. That's what I don't want you to do. Don't ignore. They communicate with us through people, through friends, through strangers on the street, through conversations that we're overhearing in line, through signs on billboards, through videos that they send us on our feed, through lines in movies that you can be guided to watch a specific movie. That's how our guides communicate to us. Not every person, even when you become your own guru, right? You may not actually hear and see them and activate all those clairs within you. I believe everyone has the capacity, but that's how you can communicate. Through a sign, you can randomly open a book and read something. You can pull an oracle card. That's how our guides communicate to us, right? There's a variety of people around the world who are channels, and they are creators. It's not just medium spiritual channels. People who create good quality videos, music, movies. They write books. They design oracle cards. I create videos. I create oracle cards. You're going to have musicians, directors, all these things, artistic things, art, creation. They're channels. You can sometimes, do a random shuffle in your music. Then what do I need to know? What energy do I need to connect to, right? And again, watch random movie. That's how we communicate. And as you listen, as you watch, you tap into the energy of your heart. What is the message that you actually want to give me through that? What you're showing me in this movie, for example, are you showing me what I need to do? Are you showing me the qualities that in the values that they're following in this movie? Are you showing me maybe a past life trauma because something is triggering me as I'm watching this movie, this life trauma, past life trauma that you're wanting me to heal? And then you can just ask for confirmation. You can use a pendulum. You can just ask for a sign. You can just allow your guides to communicate and connect to you in a dream. You got to develop your own way. But ultimately, that is the path towards alignment. With trust and with dedication, you're going to do absolutely everything that, again, your higher self, your guides, your spirit is asking you to do, without questioning and trusting that this thing will get me where I want to be, will get me where I'm supposed to be. I release the how, I release the when, I release the necessity to understand the correlation, because I trust and I know that all things are interconnected. And I know that in order to get here, I need to raise my vibration. I need to work through my shadows. I need to integrate my traumas. I need to change my lifestyle, as within, so without. All you need to do is focus on your actions, your inner world, your inner work, what they are guiding you to do, what will be specifically relevant. It's not going to be relevant for everyone to preach about veganism. It's not going to be relevant for everyone to preach about feminism. It's not going to be relevant to everyone to change your lifestyle completely, to work on a specific shadows. They will tell you what is relevant for you. Because this is not a journey of perfection. We don't have to all do it all and go through it all. They're going to show you what is relevant for you to raise your vibration. They will show you the way. You just have to start working with them. And as I said, if you struggle, you can always find yourself a spiritual teacher that will help you to connect to that frequency a little bit more and work with someone But there's variety of means, channels, and items available out there through which you can communicate with your spirit guide. So yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to say. As always, it become a very long video, but if you're here, it means that you have it in you, because most people, they scroll after 30 seconds because they don't listen to, even sometimes there's this intuitive feeling like this is what there's a reason. And I spoke about this at one point with social media, and how through social media and through our feed your guides can show you things. And you got to remember one thing. First of all, it's not going to work if you scroll for hours. So focus on the first 5-6 videos that they showed you, because it's there for a reason as you open the application. And the second thing is, remember that sometimes they show you information that you need to follow, and sometimes they're going to show you BS to test you whether you still believe in that limiting belief. So they're going to show you some content and content creators that are feeding this scarcity, that are pushing you towards strategizing and like settling or whatever that is. So they're going to test you. So if you want to communicate through scrolling, you can have a specific intention. Show me what I need to know, but don't go beyond 5-6 videos, 7 maximum, because then it's just going to be too much and it's going to be rubbish. And really think about every single thing that they're showing to you. So remember, trust and dedication. You don't have to understand how things are interconnected. If you want to reach that alignment, connect to that frequency. Step 1, if you wanted steps. If you reach here, I'm going to give you steps. Connect to that frequency. So what are really the desires of your soul? What is it that you really want? Connect to the highest, most abundant timeline. Then step 2, connect to that conduit, to that channel. So whether it's going to be your spirit guide, your higher self, God, again, it's all a framework that you're operating within. It doesn't really matter. They're just going to connect you to the quantum field. And then start working with them, developing a relationship where the information flows in and out, and you actually are listening, you're being receptive, you're being open. And then step 4, follow every single thing that they tell you to do. And step number 5, patience. It's not going to happen from one day to another. It will require, that's why we say step 2 was dedication. Component 2 was dedication. You're going to have patience. You're going to have to dedicate yourself to it. And perhaps it's going to be 2, 3, 4 years where you're not going to be seeing results. This is how they will test your perseverance, your trust. And it's also certain things have to come into fruition. You have to be ready. So removing one thing may not rise your vibration. You have to remove perhaps 10 things or change 20 things, and it's going to take time. So accept that it may be, again, 2, 3, 4 years where your external life won't change completely. You must go on. You must keep going. It's coming to my mind to share with you that if you're looking for a guidance oracle cards, I have created 3 oracle decks specifically for that purpose, to connect to your guides, to connect to your shadows, to get aligned, to listen to those messages. So you can check that out. If you've made it here, I can give you bonus information that I've channeled a new oracle decks a few days ago. So I'm going to be working on them, and probably within maybe at the end of this year releasing them as well. Maybe a little bit sooner, we'll see. Patience. But yeah, I love you so incredibly much. I hope this was helpful, and good luck.